The only way as a man that you can typically win in the dating game, or even typically outsmart women at their own game or some of their own seduction strategies, is by removing the connection that they all deep down desire from a masculine man. Let me explain. All of the great traits that make you you, okay? This could be your masculinity, the leadership that you provide, the care, the comfort, the element of protection, all of the things that she is seeking from a man. Instead of giving that right away, if you withhold those things and even make that other person earn them from you, what's going to happen is that she now values it and she respects it more. By you withholding that need that she deep down has for comfort and for connection, what's going to happen is you will naturally position yourself as a man who is pre-selected by other women, and she's going to sense that you have more options, and she's potentially going to even think that you are now investing that care and comfort into somebody else that isn't her, which is going to make her work for your approval even more.
As a young millennial myself, I would totally agree with what you just said, the lies that were kind of sold, and I don't think that they were maliciously instilled in you know, the daughters. They thought it was right, and many friends, my personal friends and family members, have also started to wake up to, wait, maybe being a 45-year-old CEO, I'm still alone and I don't have a family, and it didn't fulfill me. So
well, and you know what is, so many of my friends too did the waiting and then finally decided in their mid to late 30s, okay, now I think I am ready to have a family. And then you experience a lot of times fertility issues with that, with the waiting, and you put career first and everything. And that's just a huge struggle, I think, too. And so a lot of people are waking up to the fact like, oh, I wish that I would have tried to do this sooner. And I think that's something too that's been an eye-opener for people. Plus the fact that, and I talk about this a lot on my shows, which is very controversial even with conservatives, but the fact that almost all of us were prescribed, if you're a millennial, we were all prescribed birth control, whether we were having sex or not, in high school at 15 years old for no reason, just to regulate periods or acne or whatever, and then not knowing otherwise the side effects, and then being on that through our 30s, and then realizing, oh my goodness, this has impacted my fertility.
The feminist perspective that a fulfilling profession should come before marriage and family has gained traction among a large number of women. In the past, a woman's main responsibilities were to her husband and kids. But feminism in the 1960s questioned this notion. Women these days frequently believe they can put their professions first and get married later. But when they decide to concentrate on beginning a family, they discover that age has become a barrier.
A lot of times she doesn't know that she's been pretty much disqualified from being a serious girlfriend from the beginning because she has tendencies that aren't attractive to me. But the problem is that so many women think acting like a guy, chasing a career, being masculine, being dominant, being competitive, let me challenge you, all this shit is attractive. It's not. Yeah. And I tell girls all the time on the podcast, all right, so you think it's attractive for you to be a boss, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is. Okay, well, you know what? How about this? How about on Saturday nights, I wear heels and I wear a dress. Would you go out with me? Ew, no. Fantastic. That's exactly how men feel when you talk about you being a boss babe and competitive. Oh my God, no, it's not. It is the same because a masculine woman is just like a feminine man. But here's the craziness. Women expect you, right, to be masculine, right? And they can pick and choose when they want to be feminine. And you're supposed to accept them no matter what. But if I act feminine, right, maybe on a Saturday, they would never accept me. So what men want is considered discrimination. What women want is considered standards.
Women's fertility decreases with age, which increases the risk of problems and makes conception more difficult. Women who reject established norms and exude independence are generally viewed as unattractive by men. "I don't need a man" is a feminist catchphrase that sometimes makes women look unapproachable.
To all the young gentlemen just noticing the fairer sex, here's a tip. Do not date an ambitious girl. Okay? If that girl's, you meet her in college and she's talking about how she wants to do this and she wants to do that and accomplish this and accomplish that and she wants to be the big dog CEO of some company, leave her. Immediately. Run. You will, trust me, you will save yourself a massive amount of headaches. Ambitious boss babe bitches are nothing but a fucking headache for a man. And honestly, considering they pretty much act like men, might as well just date a dude.
Here's the thing that I want to let women know. And I think this is, especially here in the West, the United States, etc. You know, we kind of
We tell women that they can have it all. They can get a career, they can make this money, they could be a boss, and then while doing all of that, they can attract a man on their caliber that's also a boss, that's gonna be okay with them being a boss and them working together in some kind of partnership, as you would say. And I'm here to tell you guys,
Nope.
that's not the way the world works, okay? Men that are successful, hypermasculine, competitive, etc., they're going to want a feminine, submissive woman. And the problem is that so many women want to be married, but they don't want to necessarily be wives. And the reality is this: as a wife, by default of definition of your title, you are in a support role. You are to augment that man's castle and help him with what he has going on. So if you want to be a wife, you're going to have to concede and give up certain things to help that man excel, because here's the reality. When a man's in a leadership position and thriving, you're going to thrive as a byproduct of being with him. But if a woman is in a leadership position, as you were describing earlier, where you're thriving, you don't want that guy to thrive with you. You're going to find a man that can compete with you. That's the difference between men and women. Women are incapable of leading men, typically, especially if they're of lower socioeconomic status than themselves. Men, though, are okay with that. Women don't like to share their excess resources. Men are built to do it.
In relationships, men like to be needed and appreciated for more than simply their practical efforts. They also desire companionship and emotional support. Rather than those who perceive males as rivals or enemies, we are looking for partners who are compassionate and empathetic.
Do you think like what you see in the movies where if you were to strike a guy in the nuts, he would just like, fall over and he can no longer control his motor? Like,
should we test it out?
I'm pretty sure,
I'm just saying
it hurts,
that's a good
but like,
start. I'm not going to tell people how to attack men. I'm just saying if you take those classes, they teach you.
How about this? Here, let me give women better advice. Go get a firearm. That'll help you out much more in a self-defense situation against a man than taking years of BJJ.
In addition, males are not drawn to women who are bitter or cynical about men because of their past experiences. We look for mates who understand the value of friendship and support among one another. Women who prioritize their independence and jobs above all else may inadvertently turn off possible partners by coming across as unduly dismissive or competitive. The question of how men operate, what they desire, and what they search for in a woman has never even occurred to feminist women. If you ask them any of these questions, they'll look at you like you have a zebra's head sticking out of your behind. I have not yet encountered a feminist who is not completely unaware of the fundamental biological characteristics of men. Simply ask them what positive masculinity entails, and be ready to receive anything but a factual response.
So I am a young millennial, and for my generation, we were really sold this boss babe life. Put your career first, don't get married, don't have a kids, don't even think about that until your mid to late 30s, don't worry about it, your career is what is going to fulfill you. And we really bought into that lie. And so many millennials, and some older than me, they did do that, and then everyone realized, oh wait, now I have the big promotion, I am making a lot of money. Women are, by the way, the left doesn't want to talk about this, but women are out earning men. I mean, to and from that, this wage gap thing is such BS. But they have all of that, but they still feel like they're missing something. And the truth is that we were made for more. We were made to pour into a family and a husband and have children, and that is what is going to fulfill you. At the end of the day, like your career, at the very end of your life, how much money you made and everything isn't going to matter, but who's going to be at your bedside on your deathbed. And so I think a lot of millennials started to have that wake-up call, and now Gen Z is starting to have that wake-up call. And so young conservatives really are embracing this, it's called trad wife lifestyle. So traditional wife, being a stay-at-home mom and putting a focus on that. And so I think that's amazing. And that's something I think about too. I have a really serious relationship right now. We're not engaged yet, but it's something that we're talking about. And he knows that that's super important. Obviously, I feel like I'm in a place that God wants me to be with hosting this show, but I also really want to be a mother. And at the end of the day, if I had to choose to lose all of this, and if that was the only way to be a mother, I would choose that. And we'll see what ends up happening. Maybe there's a way for me to balance both a little bit, but I think a lot of girls are waking up to the fact that family really is everything and putting more of a priority back on that. And so I cannot wait to see how Gen Z really takes that back.
As a young millennial myself,
in the end, Pursuing a job is not inherently troublesome. Rather, it is important to strike a balance between it and personal connections. Men are looking for companions that are sincere, kind, and able to build strong bonds. A woman may find herself alone because of the attitudes she has taken on, which make it hard for her to have a meaningful relationship with someone. Everyone is worthy of love and friendship, but it takes two people to recognize and value one another's roles and contributions in a partnership. And that wraps up today's episode of Manosphere Daily. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is out. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.